every time. He does this every day, man.
Why are you unbanning him? Just keep
I don't know, bro. Man.
Go. One more to go.
Welcome, everybody, to the Onward VR Master League Season 12, Week 6. My name is Nightfire with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-caster, the Sky Joker, for our Sunday afternoon or night weekend venues showcase. Sky, this is going to be an exciting matchup to tune into tonight.
100%. This is definitely going to be one of the better ones that we're going to witness through this season.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this NFI team, kind of a mashup of a bunch of seasoned players coming together. So definitely going to be cool to watch them go up against a all-around seasoned team such as Boss Fight.
Yeah, and I mean, Boss Fight in particular, when we talk about them, they're a team that has been around in this league since, I think, Season 2, if I'm remembering my stats correctly, and they have really evolved recently as a team in terms of their roster changing. They've recently added the Woods Brothers, a duo that was historically attributed to the Beginners team throughout the Beginners lifespan. But the Woods Brothers now on this Boss Fight roster, and I think it really has impacted the power of the Boss Fight roster. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't talk about the duo too much because I'm just looking at our active rosters for today, Sky, from what we're seeing, and I'm only seeing one of the brothers there. But still, both of them being in on this squad, it makes the Boss Fight team that much stronger. It gives them that much more depth.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Woods players definitely being akin to powerful angles and powerful CQB combat styles.
Yeah.
It also attributes to them replacing their seasoned sniper, which would be Viper. So it definitely affects some of their play styles or various strategies. But it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, it really has been. It is, you know. We also have to, of course, touch upon the rotating map pool. As we get into our 6th week of the season, the map pool changes now, and so the available maps that these teams can choose from is now changed from what it was in the past 5 weeks. So all of that practice now kind of goes out the window to some extent, and you have to refresh on old and new maps. And so let's just get into our pick bands of the day. For those that maybe aren't in the know and are tuning in on Horizon venues or for their first time for a VRML matchup, this is a 5 versus 5 military simulator. The home team, Boss Fight, gets to pick ban the first map. The away team, no fun intended, bans the second map. There is a ton of maps available in this game, but I digress. Boss Fight have banned Suburbia, no fun intended, banning out Subway, and it leaves us with all of the custom maps still on the table and some long range maps available for today's series. Sky, what do you think about these bans?
So I will say it's a little bit tougher to inspect on NFI's side of the bans a little bit because of the fact that they're a mashup of different players. They haven't been around too long. But I will say Boss Fight's known to be very good on Subway. So I imagine that was definitely a ban of strength for NFI. They wanted to get rid of maybe something they're not as comfortable on as Boss Fight is. It also takes a lot of coordination to run Subway, and maybe they just haven't had the playtime they like together. As far as Boss Fight banning Suburbia, I think that's a little bit more obvious. That Suburbia is pretty much their default ban.
Yeah. And, you know, again, like I said, that custom map pool available for those not in the know. Custom maps are created by our community, and so you'll see maps created by players that play in the league get eventually sort of tested by the community and finally vetted for league play. And so Hook 2.0 is where we're going to be kicking off the start of things for this series, and it's the first time that I will be dropping in to this map. I mean, we've had a bunch of firsts. Arctic also in that pool as a new map to Season 12. But Boss Fight choosing this guy, it's interesting. If anything, I feel like No Fun Intended would have picked this to sort of maybe try and have something fresh in the pool. But Boss Fight are opting for Hook here.
So Boss Fight definitely feel comfortable in places where they can get a lot of angles and surround an objective, similar to other higher level teams. So Hook is definitely one of those maps where you can take a lot of different angles.
Yeah.
So I think it'll play to their style. It is a little bit interesting though to go to, as you said, a new map, something that they haven't been playing for seasons and seasons on end. So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, should be fun indeed. Again, for those not in the know, this is a top tier battle, a master tier team versus a diamond tier. The regular season has a ranked ladder. Within that ranked ladder, there are, for lack of a better word, divisions. Those divisions are determined by where you are positioned in that ladder. And so Boss Fight is, I believe, second worldwide. They are positioned, obviously, then in the master tier. No Fun Intended, 14th. This sets them up in the diamond tier. Beneath that is gold, silver, and bronze. And so there's a lot of range of skill that you can really get in the VRML. And tonight is going to be at the top of that range. Very much so teams that have been playing and practiced together for a long time, for at least with Boss Fight. Like you said, No Fun Intended, kind of a ragtag group of players that have been around in the league for a long time. You look at their captain, I think they've been in the league since Season 6 and have not stayed, I guess they rebranded, and so they've been with the same team for 2 seasons there, but definitely bounced around to a lot of different teams, team names, and now here with No Fun Intended. We'll see if it will be the roster that maybe they've been searching for over the course of these seasons. If they can challenge the likes of Boss Fight, it's definitely going to be a roster that's looking good for what could be that post-season's position. For those, again, not in the know, the top 8 players in top 8 teams in our ladder face off against each other at the end of our 15-week regular season, and we get to see who the best in the world is out of that tournament. Also, in addition, they get a chunk of the prize pool, which is now over $7,000 in hardware and cash that comes from our sponsors. Those sponsors are ProTube VR, VR Cover, VR Wear, HyperX, VRML, of course, Border Foods. You can find all of those sponsors over at vrml.com/sponsors. Also, more information in chat. But it is going to be an exciting next few weeks as we get into this new map pool, as we get into sort of watching more of these new maps like Hook, but also those finals, Sky. I'm already kind of starting to think about them. What is that top 8 even going to look like? I don't really know what to expect out of the Season 12, because it's so many new teams coming in, and also teams that have come in since, in Season 10 starting to develop and prove that maybe they want to compete in the top 10.
Yeah, these last couple of seasons with bringing on the Quest in Season 10 and all these just new bloods coming in, it's been just so crazy to watch these standings. You go back historically in Onward VRML and you look at, you know, old standings in previous seasons, like they don't change much.
Yeah,
There are
anyone could
little
have predicted
fluctuations,
it.
but it stays. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing crazy. And then you hit season 10 and it's like, what is happening? It's mind-boggling. Sure, you see the same 3 or 4 in their place, but beyond that, it's just a toss-up. I'm looking at current stats, and yeah, it's same thing this season.
Wow. Yeah, and it is what makes spectating, I guess, and casting so exciting. It is the unknown, the variety that we've seen in particular. You know, as we've added custom maps into the VRML, it's all just been such a great development for the league, and super fun to watch. So I am very happy again to get into a fresh map here today to kick this off. Hook 2.0 technically, but we'll stick with Hook. It will be played here today, and we do have a full lobby now, Sky. We've bought enough time for everyone to be readied up. We have Radar Head, Legal, 24 Gray, Little Sayonara, and Woods 43 making up the boss fight roster. And over on No Fun Intended, we have Game Reaper, the Mad Hatter, Deadshot, 04, and Ree. And you know, it's interesting when you look at these rosters for both of these teams. They have that full 8-man roster, and even their subs are super strong. You know, really good players in this game. So it's, you know, I imagine we'll see some substitutes come in as we get into some other maps, but we got action, Sky. Round 1 finally kicking off here.
I'm going the other way.
I don't think so.
I don't think
Careful
so.
on that cross.
I'll be watching for them in the door immediately myself.
This is definitely one of the more interesting objectives to watch, as there's so much cap potential. And it's once the action starts, it's going to happen very quickly because they're all going to be within this little courtyard.
Lego pushing up for an aggressive, well, I guess Mad Hatter really trying to dive out there as Lego just misses those shots. Hatter getting some information and
engaged too.
Wow.
Eco 4, arc.
Yeah, back into the tunnel. We do have Ree and Woods very close. Ree just inching up, almost kind of blended in and camouflaged into the side here. Going to be super hard for Woods to identify. They're going to have to be almost ready to snap down here onto this Ree angle. But at the same time, Woods also very blended in. And so I don't know if either of these players are going to identify each other. We very well could see a trade in the tunnel here. Oh no, Woods is actually going to rotate just a slight.
Coming up close. Any man could come out on top on this. Oh, but Ree running right out in the open.
Meanwhile, up the middle, Radar Head taking shots down towards Game Reaper and Deadshot, trying to shut down Little Sayonara in 24 Gray. But NFI not necessarily staying tucked in around objective, and maybe it's because they want to avoid being surrounded. Like you said, they want to try and prevent that boss fight strategy from being put into effect, trying to disrupt the setup phase, but that is not working. Gray finds 04, and it's now just down to 2 for NFI on defense. In a 5v2, this is not the start they're looking for.
Not at all. And with Radar Head now picking up Deadshot, Grim Reaper last on objective. Woods having taken down Reed, that's an open tunnel for him to just get behind. And this is an encirclement. This is exactly what boss fight want to do.
Game Reaper shifted off of their position back to where their teammate just went down. A risky spot to be peeking.
If Game Reaper's not careful, Woods 43 could actually walk right up the back onto that boat and cap from outside.
Yeah, but Game is doing the right thing, rotating around the objective building, trying to be effective in covering everything here.
He wants to paint a target on his head right now.
Essentially, and Radar is willing to hunt for that target. Those shots come in and just miss. And I almost do wonder if they are setting up for that cap attempt right now. I mean, 5v1, you don't get an opportunity presented like this.
He's on objective, 24.
Wow.
Game Reaper is not checking in. The cap comes out. Round number 1. Perfect execution from boss fight.
I mean,
wow.
You know, this is fight coming in prepared. I can't, there's no other way of shaking it down here. Again, Hook being introduced just this week. And, you know, that gives them, I guess, 6 days to practice the map and figure out strategies and scrim it and kind of hone it in. But this looks like even more practice than that to me, Sky. I mean, this looks like a good understanding of the map. To your point, they knew they could cap on the outside there, whereas NFI maybe it just didn't seem like they had that understanding. They weren't aware that that cap opportunity was presented back there.
Yeah, this is definitely what you would see out of a well-coordinated and practiced team. They definitely did their research.
Yeah.
They did their homework. They know what they can and can't do and what they can get away with. This is why Boss Fight brought them to this map, 100%.
Absolutely. They confident in their abilities, as they should be, off of that 5-1. I mean, come on. You can't have a more dominating Marsoc round. You literally can't. Nobody dies. You leave one left alive to get the cap. It's the maximum damage done from Boss Fight there off of that first round. And, you know, now have a minute and a half between the rounds for NFI to sort of figure out what the heck just happened and try and orchestrate something of their own. Again, a fresh map here, so there is certainly potential for Boss Fight to also leave gaps in coverage and get picked off by unknown angles. It's just, again, like you said, a matter of how much research they've done. And I guess we'll see how prepared Boss Fight is on defense and what NFI's attack looks like as we swap sides and go back in to the action. Same objective position, but now Boss Fight defend and NFI have to attack.
Again, that's building here.
I'm curious to see how well Woods 43 can hold that tunnel, because that is just such a key rotation for the attack. If they can take that tunnel and get out of it efficiently, it's very dangerous, as that opens up the entire back of the objective like Boss Fight did in the previous round.
Woods over here in the corner by the shore. Has to be careful. That shark will come by from time to time. You don't want to get nibbled by that sucker, but they are close down here. Their toes getting a little wet as they wait for what I would assume any sort of audio indicator of footsteps. But it's kind of, you know, out of all of the audio sounds, I feel like sand is a hard one to pick up sometimes.
Woods 43 gonna go for a peek, but might get caught in the head by Ree from the side, and a trade, but Ree still resable. That is
Huge.
very dangerous for Boss Fight. Key pickup for no fun intended.
Yeah, very important one. Definitely, obviously benefiting NFI as the res comes through. And now forcing this rotation out of Little Sayonara, they have to crash back. And it looks like NFI almost ready for that rotation to come in as they themselves tuck back into the tunnel to defend this aggression. And Sayonara not going to overextend. Meanwhile, we have to pop over to the other side of this rock here as 04 and Deadshot are getting close to challenging 24 Gray.
It's gonna be tough to dig out Gray from that building.
But they know he's there now.
Very dark, hard to spot. Yeah, he did just give away his position.
This is a great attack. NFI have one up the center, providing shots down in from the top, just like Radar was. Two coming in from the south. They have this 5-4 advantage. It is looking like a great setup phase so far for NFI. It's just a matter of now executing this together. We'll see if, I think that starts with 04 catching out Gray.
Yeah, they have to deal with that corner defense position if they hope to make a lot of ground here.
-1.
Oh, just a down, but a great shot altogether. It's going to be very tough to get that revive if they want to go for it.
Like you said, a very nice
grenades.
angle there. Interestingly enough, we don't even have that south side coming through anymore. Game Reaper and Ree have pushed off of that tunnel now and are going to be trying their luck at pushing in through the center. Legal detonating C4 and utility through these alleyways is not going to find anyone, as both Game Reaper and Ree are in the other alleyway. Radar Head, you know, a bit pinned from that 2-story suppression, and so NFI, again, just a matter of execution as they are still progressing nicely through this setup phase. That res might also come through as well.
I've been watching it. 24 grade just can't quite get the head of the floor. Oh, right as the res comes out. Game Reaper and Re ready to penetrate the defense here by Lego as well. So much happening all at once.
You really gotta keep your head on a swivel, and that's exactly what a good attack looks like. It's forcing the defense to keep their head on a swivel. If you can crash at the same time, you can nullify the effective ability of communications, and so NFI just waiting for their timing. 210 now. They hear those the comm from Radar Head. That's giving them information. They now trade on that south side, and so we're into a 3v3. Oh, and now we're going to be switching out. This little Sayonara is still watching the south, though.
Another rotation from Reem and Game Reaper.
Oh, and a nice pickup from Sayonara. Ready there, waiting. Reaper is the second to follow, though, and it's always good to have a teammate there in that duo to re-peek those angles. Is he going to be ready for Radar Head, though? Radar, the follow-up, finds the refrag, and we continue to trade on that south side. And now, with a minute and a half left, it comes down to Mad Hatter pushing off of their high angle and challenging the 1v2.
Man, it was such a good stage up, but I think the lack of commitment was their downfall. They just couldn't commit to actually pushing in and penetrating the defense all at the same time from the angles. And I think that hindered them just a little bit.
Are they going to be ready for this tight 90-degree turn they have to make to shut down Lego is the question. Lego actually even deeper. They're holding a very late angle there. Lego finds the kill. Boss fight with 2 left alive. Do take the round, but maybe a little bit of concern put into the minds of Boss Fight there. That last round, not nearly as easy as their first Marsoc cap was.
Yeah, they did really good at staying tucked in. I think NFI just had some really good shots in there that allowed them to take down some positions. It was definitely a lot of trades and refrags that helped with that. But in the end, Boss Fight managed to hold their patience in. But moving to a different objective now, gotta wonder how that's gonna change the dynamic.
Clearly that last objective, well prepared was Boss Fight when they attacked. They had that whole plan in order and they executed it perfectly. Like you said, as we do switch sides, maybe an opportunity for NFI now to put up a Volk round of their own. Get a point up on that board. You do not want to go out 4-0 on Boss Fight's map pick. Obviously, you then go into your map choice, so maybe you go into a space where you're a little bit more comfortable, and your team has a little bit more practice. But all the rounds matter, and so NFI certainly want to put at least 1 or 2 points on this map 1 here, even if they're going to lose it 4-2, 4-1. To get skunked is definitely. I mean, obviously it impacts your overall rank, up and down, but also impacts your morale. I mean, it is tough to not even pick up a single round in that first map against your opponent.
Especially for a team that hasn't been together for very long. This mashup of a team, the bonds aren't as strong.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to watch to see how they react to this. The mind and psychology effects in Onward are something that you just don't pick up on too often, but it's definitely important.
Hatter, click 3 times if they're on.
Yeah, and we are, watching NFI, they definitely have the planned defensive strategy. They know where everyone is going to be. They have different means of communicating if someone's going to be rotating through a different side, and so they are prepared for the hook map as well, which is equally an impressive feat. It's really, again, just 5-6 days to be practicing and preparing this map. I guess maybe a little bit more if you're just playing the game and enjoy the map itself. But still,
Yep.
Both of these teams coming in here with strategies ready to go and eyes on Game Reaper as they wait in this tucked in corner for the likes of Little Sayonara and Radarhead to push up.
Grenade right on.
Oh,
Wow.
Echo 4
A
got the shot.
perfect grenade. A very common spot to be in, so no surprise that he would pre-nade that.
Told you I could do it.
It was perfect.
Play head.
Little Sayonara. I told you I could do it.
They may have someone pushed in back on.
The little Sayonara that could with that nade there. As we now push up, Radarhead and Sayonara have this west side. Theirs for the taking. Deadshot obviously waiting for that late cross, but they could be distracted by shots from Gray. I mean, anyone really. Legel, Woods 43 coming up in the center, or it could just get scooped up by the trade. Radarhead's going to challenge it, finds the kill, drops the gun. Not sure that was intended. Scoops that back up and continues the push. But again, a 5v3, no kills locked in yet. And as I say that, 04 swings wide to at least find Radar.
I killed one in the back. There's still another over there.
Woods 43 had her. This defense slowly getting picked away. Key pickup. Radarhead taking him down in the center. That opens up a lot of options for Sayonara, especially since 04 is now rotated. It's going to be a matter of if Sayonara picks up on 04 possibly coming behind him.
Legel finds the rotation themselves. Ree with a great shot there. Legel challenging 04, support over the top from Ree, saves 04 and keeps this into a 2-2.
04 almost forgot about Sayonara over there and gets punished for it. I think he got tagged a little bit, but Sayonara couldn't quite get the kill in this 2v2 once again.
A matter of Gray challenging at the same time that Sayonara does. You know, Sayonara's over there and actually rotating off of that angle. And so maybe now is the time for both Sayonara and Gray to communicate, reconnect, and try and strategize what their play looks like. Maybe they also already have the timing of their pinch down and it's going to come around 2 minutes. Who knows?
Gray is definitely taking this a little bit slowly compared to Sayonara. I'm wondering how their kill count is.
Right. How many trades have we had? You know, one trade. Fast action. They should at least know they have 1 or 2 down from the likes of Radar and Sayonara on that west side, finding both of those kills. So.
Oh.
You good?
Little Sayonara goes for shots onto Ree right as 04 peeks out the window.
Great duo
and 24
support.
Gray not in a good position.
Really good duo support to get both of these kills inside this building. Very smart to have one in top, one in bottom, and they're communicating effectively to find these picks. And now it's a 2v1 with Gray alone in this push. 2 minutes left on the clock, so time left to work with, but not a lot.
You know, we've seen 24 Gray walk up and cap on a 5-man team, I think, once before. So it's definitely not impossible for this one to clutch it.
Okay.
And there is potential there. I believe you can cap from the outside. However, 04's been looking or glancing out that door/window area that watches it. So it's going to be tough.
And as Gray gets close, they gain information. They start to hear these footsteps, figure out where this defense is, and maybe try and strategize something in their mind.
Ooh. The timing.
Wow.
04 peaked it like a half second too early.
It's onward timing is what it is, but Gray is here.
100%.
On
With
the
the
outer
drum
wall.
bag, nonetheless.
I mean, is there... Yeah, if they can get up into that corner, they can cap, right?
It's a cap. Yeah, that is a cap if he can get past the window and door that 04 has been peeking. And he's no longer there.
Yeah. This is a viable play here for Gray. If they commit to this push, 04 doesn't swing around here. Check, and they do, and there's the trade. Ree survives on the top story, and NFI stay alive in map 1, putting up at least 1 point onto the board. But, yeah, it's they knew that was a weak point, right? They knew that wall could be capped through, and it's why that rotation was going on there. But it's just classic Onward timing. As soon as you check an angle and leave it, the opponent crosses from that side. I don't know how it always works out that way, but even down to that push, it almost was classic Onward timing. But a good solid bit of defense really from that duo inside to save that round for NFI. And well, now they get to go on the attack as we swap sides. We stay on that same objective, and so now boss fight have to defend. And I'm curious to see what the NFI attack looks like. Backs against the wall. Do you try and orchestrate even a cap attempt here? Is that something that's in the playbook, or are you just trying to survive round by round?
Well, whichever they go for,
Yeah.
the pressure's definitely on them. As, something we always love to touch up on that I forgot to mention earlier, the connoisseur votes.
Yeah.
With a boss fight 40 and an NFI 7. So definitely the underdogs in this matchup.
And yesterday, I think it was a similar sort of spread. I think HFA had like 40, and the connoisseurs tend to sort of tip one way or the other, and I don't know. I don't know if it's safe to count NFI out. Obviously, if you look at those ranks, the disparity is present, but I don't know. The top 20 could all battle each other, and it would be good games.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Despite one team having been around longer, all the players that are currently on the field right now have been around for quite a while. I think with the exception of maybe one who just recently joined in the last 2 seasons. But other than that, they've all been around. They're all seasoned. They're all experienced.
No flash did nothing.
Utility nades all flying in through the tunnel here. Oh, and I think that flash assisted Sayonara on that kill onto Reaper. Reaper having no success getting up through this tunnel. Oh, that might be a risky repeat there. Sayonara still has an angle dialed in and is waiting for anyone to challenge. I just don't think the option is going to be there.
I like this duo of Sayonara and Woods. Having 2 over in this section of the map is definitely a lot more powerful than the solo that No Fun Intended had.
Well, especially having Sayonara forward like that, it prevents them from getting within range of throwing the grenade. You really you do have to get somewhat close to be able to throw the grenade that far. So it's like a good double stack.
The only problem I see with it is they're a little disconjointed from the objective, so people start going down on the other side. It's going to be tough for them to rotate. As I say that, Woods is already half rotated in case that happens.
Some interesting shots coming in from Deadshot over here down towards Woods and Sayonara trying to catch them rotating there. And so now Deadshot and Ree communicating together to try and weed out that west defense as Legal scoops up 0-4,
Echo 3 north.
trying to make a north rotation.
Echo 3 north.
Oh, Pattern, Radar, Head, so close to each other in the center. Either one peeks around and turns, they'll see each other.
And Ree's rotated. They're now... This is just a brief head glitch away from going down, and Radar is going to find that head. Scoops up that kill, but like you said, gives away their position. Now Hatter very much aware of Radar's position.
Echo. Stop.
An interesting tucked
Echo.
position Radar is found here.
Echo. Echo. Stop.
Again, just goes to show the research that's definitely been had.
Confirm Echo 2.
Interesting comms there. Coming in from boss fight, but maybe Radar just trying to hear anything around them, and very much now being aware that Mad Hatter is on their side. They're going to drop back. 2:45 left. It looks like both Deadshot and Hatter could be planning to reconnect here and then try and figure something out, but it is a 2v5 right now, and that clock is ticking away.
Deadshot with the sniper, looking for Gray's head, but I don't think Gray's gonna overpeak that.
Listen, one guy in my building.
Oh, as I say that, he finds Mad Hatter on the peak. As Deadshot looks away, once again, the competitive timing of Onward.
And as Deadshot makes these shots, they could be dead. Radar head hearing these bullets, rotates up to the roof, and he's going to take up an angle down in. This is going to be
just as Deadshot walks away. But if he goes back...
Woods 43 decides to take up the mantle and peek out. Look at this angle from Deadshot, too. Underneath, through the wood gap there. Really minimizing the exposure. And Woods is so close to peeking. I bet you Deadshot saw the barrel.
Deadshot, come on. We know you want it. Pick it. Hello?
Uh-oh. Thought we had a tech issue there for a second from Deadshot, but... And they're just dialed in.
That gun is so still.
I know. It feels like it's... Look, it seems like they disconnected. It's so stable.
Yeah.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, they did. It was so still.
Yeah, there's no
like,
way you hold
no
that gun
way.
that straight.
Disconnected, I think.
Disconnect comes through, though, and an unfortunate reality in online play is that, well, sometimes that happens, and you have to play through. The double unfortunate reality is that it is now the map locked in for boss fights, so no more playing through. Of at least Hook, as boss fight take map 1 4-1. I mean, I think the right thing to say would be that the connoisseurs seem to know what they're talking about. As boss fight coming in here in map 1, they are looking very good, and I mean, hey, they are second in the world for a reason. They have been playing very good this season in Season 12, and I think they're just continuing to get better as the season goes on, which makes them a very serious threat, a very serious contender for a championship spot for Season 12 in my mind.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Boss Fight are where they're at for a reason. They deserve to be there. They're going to hold that spot.
Yeah.
And they're a tough matchup for any team in the league, no matter who you are.
Looks like we are going to be popping into our next map. Sky, I'm just going to throw out a guess. Say maybe Arctic for map 2. Where do you think No Fun Intended is going to take us for map 2?
See, that's a tough one. So, do we go to another custom map, which would be Arctic, a close range map, which they just got finished on Hook, which was pretty close, a little bit of medium, and didn't take it. I'm looking at the stats from NFI.
Wow,
We're going to Arctic.
My random guess actually accurate. And you know, I guess the one maybe it came into the back of my mind for a few reasons. One, you know, one of the new maps, another custom maps, right? If you think about the strategy, you would, I don't know, Boss Fight looks so good on Hook that, you know, they seem prepared for new maps in this map pool rotation, but Arctic is one of these new maps, new to Season 12, new to this, new to the league entirely, and so I'm thinking that maybe NFI are hoping that they can sort of overwhelm Boss Fight with chaos in the very close quarters of Arctic, but also because it's a new map, maybe try and surprise them with some new strategies. Maybe NFI have prepared as much as Boss Fight did on Hook on Arctic. You know, who knows what we're going to get here in this series. It is the beauty, truly, of the rotating map pool, where even with experienced teams, Sky, even with teams that have been in the league for 12 seasons, you sometimes just don't know what you're going to get especially when these map pools change early. You know, the first week is always super fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is definitely a kind of let's throw something else into the mix kind of map. And I'm thinking about how Boss Fight played Hook in particular. It was all about encirclement, getting picks from varying levels of angles.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in Arctic, it's a little bit harder to do so. There's no verticality on the outside.
Right.
There's not... For every objective, there's no way to get around. It is more of they're always going to come from the same basic direction.
Right.
So I think that might play into the hands of No Fun Intended a little bit in the sense that they can predict more where Boss Fight's going to be.
It's kind of an interesting thought, too, that especially with where this first objective is, we won't get into it too much, but I guess with every objective, really, there's some very quick cap opportunities that can be presented, right? There's some very fast plays that can be executed. And I think the use of utility is going to be a big element here in the success of these teams, whether you have those successful smokes and flashes. The flashes in particular, you can flash over a building into an alleyway effectively and then allow you to peek that corner. And so there is a lot of sort of utility play to be utilized here. I saw a little bit of it in this first week, but you know, when we now get to see the best of the best throw it out there, it should be I don't know what we're in store for. I don't know what strategies they've sort of hashed out. And I am looking at the rosters here, and I am seeing a sub on the like of Boss Fight, not over for NFI, but the Woods brothers have been paired together yet again over on the Boss Fight side. Who did they sub out for? Radar Hag, Lego, Little Sayonara, Woods 43, and Icy Woods. Well,
Trying to remember. It was 24 Gray.
Yes, thank you. How could we forget? With that,
How could we forget Gray?
we got more action and, well, what should be pretty dang fast-paced action. This objective, kind of a crazy one. This round one starts off here on Arctic.
2 C4s in play.
You're going to see
where
very
they
fast
opt to
engagements
toss
here.
those.
Rian Reaper already
Game
past
Reaper.
Sayonara's line of sight, but not past Radar Heads. Game at least finds the refrag. And now they've lost control of their flank, so that's going to be bad news. Sayonara actually going to challenge it. What a crazy push on defense.
Wow.
But it works out, and Game Reaper goes down.
That north approach was so much faster than the south and center.
Get those cars, okay? Just hold that down. Keep going, good.
And now Boss Fight has time to kind of readjust themselves. Woods 43 picking up Mad Hatter from a crazy angle. That shot not quite going to get that refrag.
They are dialed in and ready, though. If Woods repeats, it could be bad news, and it is. Down goes Woods 43.
That weakens
kill.
the center quite a bit.
Yeah, it really does. And the center is not where you want to be weak. If someone enters in through the center, there is a cap on your hands very fast.
Echo 1,
Sayonara
I got
looking to
refrag,
cover that gap
you
in
lost the Cavern
coverage.
Center warehouse.
Now it's up to 04 to kind of sneak up on the close.
Wow. And a firefight
Sayonara
breaking
once
out.
again get a challenge.
Oh my goodness, Sayonara can't connect with the AK. They're going to try and flash onto the corner, and it catches 04 successfully. A great play. 04 overextending onto the corner there, going for the hunt, and they find the kill. And now Deadshot able to find one. Can't swing to catch Sayonara, but it was looking like a one-on-one there for a moment. As the first 2 minutes break out, Legel comes in off of objective saying, what happened? We won the round. I don't even know. Boss Fight go up 1-0.
Wow, what a crazy round. Lil Sayonara being one of the newest players on the field right now. Really showing his stuff, improving himself as a good pickup for Boss Fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've been playing well the first round as well on Hook. They Really, the whole team, Boss Fight, just in sync here this afternoon, or night, or evening, wherever you are. And I suppose a good a time as any to shout out everyone that is hanging out here, whether you're on Twitch, Horizon, Venues, Facebook, or YouTube. We appreciate all of you hanging out and participating in what has been some very fast-paced action, Sky. I mean, map 1 done in, I think, 35 minutes time, maybe 40. No, 35 minutes time. Yeah, because we started, maybe 30 minutes time. We are now flying, Arctic, just a fast map in general. And it kind of has me thinking this map pool in its, itself, I think the overall series time is going to go down from these first 5 weeks to the next 5. If my predictions are accurate, with the likes of Suburbia in there, Hook, Arctic, Tanker, there's a lot of fast maps in this map pool, and obviously there's balance in there. You have the likes of Downfall available to be played out, Bazaar to slow things up a little bit, but I just think that the action is definitely a bit more fast-paced, and with these first 2 maps, it has been quick. We are now into round 2 of Arctic on map 2, and again, this objective, a wild one. We'll see some action, I anticipate, in the first 30 seconds.
A very similar approach from Boss Fight with some heavy aggression up in the north, but they're opting to take a different direction.
Oh, no.
They're actually going to cut towards the objective. Little Sayonara already almost challenging it.
This defense,
head on.
Not ideal right now. Sayonara is going to cap this.
Yeah. He could sneak right up onto it right now. 04 is the only one stopping it.
You have action on the other side.
A smoke to block 04's vision would be so powerful.
Pattern Legal trading here. Oh, that's a good stuff. It's not even needed as Radar finds the kill. Deadshot is going to swing onto the corner as the smokes come in. Sayonara finds the kill. Where's the rest of the defense? They have to rush over to objective side. 04 at least has a long angle down into the smoke, and they're just putting out nades. Utility. Woods on the back catches out Ree, and the defense continues to smash around objective.
Oh, he's going for it.
Here comes the cap attempt. More utility comes in. A flash up and over. I don't know if that prevents Sayonara. It seems to have put a stall in the time. The code's getting entered in the smoke. Reaper has to push another flash up and over. That one doesn't connect in time, and Sayonara finds the cap, the second one on the series for Boss Fight, as they take a lead, well, a 3-1 lead now in map 2.
Wow. What a crazy round. Again, that center was just not covered at all. And as we talked about in the previous round, the center, you do not want to give up on that objective.
And they gave it up. I mean, they invested in the outer edge defense. They had one on objective somewhat, but even then, they had to rotate to defend, swing that angle to prevent the caps, and I guess that's probably is a fine way of defending a corner angle, but it just makes me objectives like that in particular just remind me of the North Stairs on Subway, where you have that objective right on that corner, and these 90-degree angles where you can cap on the other side are so incredibly dangerous. And well, you see, I guess, 2 very different strategies there on that objective. If you are tuning in, learn a lesson on Arctic right now. Invest in defending that center area. Put at least 2 or 3 over onto that side, and then spread to the edges with your other 2. Playing passively there doesn't really pay off much. And, I mean, clearly a cap coming through there for Boss Fight. And now have a very strong 3-0 lead on No Fun Intended's map choice, and they are flying through the series. The momentum, a big element in this battle right now, Sky. Boss Fight are just really riding a wave.
Are you fucking talking to me? Are you coming in my house and you talking to me?
Yeah, once they got that first cap, I think they realized, okay, we're playing well, let's keep this going. And they haven't stopped.
Mid building, Rigo's north.
They literally play it so bad, but we play it
They're definitely feeling good right now.
Interesting commentary there. We played it so bad, but they played it worse.
Oh,
In the right building,
a key pickup to start things off over in the south. That's going to weaken the flank attempt. 04 coming up the center. We'll see if Boss Fight does a better job at defending it. Looks like Legel is prepared for it.
C4 disruption there, giving away their position up through the center, and they're going to swing over to the other angle. They could go for a quick peek onto Woods 43 inside. Deadshot is going to get rid of Woods, though. No quick peek necessary. It does open up that entry point, but they're not going to be utilizing it. Both Ree and Game Reaper are going to be challenging Sayonara prone underneath the truck, a common defensive position that shuts down the likes of Ree, and one that works out well because the only way to really challenge it is to prone peek yourself.
I've got -1.
Some trades of utility over in the center. Radar Head attempting to cover the gap that Deadshot's trying to get through. It's going to be tough. Legel and Radar Head going to have to work together to deal with this center and south approach. Oh, a nice rotation. Radar Head finding Deadshot as he crosses. Now both members of No Fun Intended Left Alive are in the same spot. This approach is going to be tough.
It's just, you know, kind of a poking and prodding attack right now as Reaper looks for Radar Head inside the tunnel. Radar going to suppress back, and 04 meanwhile going to swing the other side. Legel's there to defend though. Shuts down 04. A great time to swing. Game Reaper follows it up though. Catches Radar out in the comp. But they're going to be ready for Legel. Here they are, but the trade nets Boss Fight the round win. And we don't have a round that goes over 2 minutes here in Arctic. We are done with map 2.
What a series this has been so far. Boss Fight coming in for the win. Coming to play.
Yeah.
They were here. They were ready. They were present.
Yeah.
No fun intended. Just couldn't quite cut it.
And you know, they found some kills there. 5 and 3 from Reaper, 3 and 3 from Deadshot, but like you said, just not quite enough. That cap really impacting them. Rough, obviously, both caps in both maps. Going to be learning experiences for NFI. I doubt we see those mistakes happen with the NFI team going forward in this these next 4 weeks of this map being utilized. Both of these maps being utilized. Really, 2 lessons to be learned there. You got to cover that outside cap, and that corner is just treacherous. Map 3. Where do you think we're headed with Boss Fight's choice? I think. Give you some inside info. I saw them practicing downfall, so maybe that's where they take it, but they've been doing so good on the close quarters.
Yeah, but now that they have the series, they can afford to kind of go to a fun map or something, you know,
Stretch your
different.
legs.
Maybe they don't feel like they have to do something where they know for sure they're going to win, you know? Something they can have a little bit more fun with. So maybe we go to a long range like Downfall.
I don't think Cargo is in the map pool, but it's, I don't know what you call this, twin brother. Tanker is in the map pool now, and so for map 3, we are going to be headed to Tanker, and you know, again, at the theme of a fast series. I think going to be something that we see more and more of, at least in these next 5 weeks, as Tanker also a very quick map, or at least can be, right? It has the option of being played slow, like all of these maps do. You could play Hook slow, you could play, I don't even know if you really can, you can play Arctic medium. and Tanker, it has the length, you know, it is just very tightly confined in the width, and so the action just tends to be fast-paced. But there is strategy and rotations that you can deploy that require time.
it's really cargo meets subway because it has these multi-level engagements that you could go through and flank around. So you can definitely play it on the slower side. You know, go up top to get around the back of the lower objective or vice versa. Few different things
Right.
you can do, but I suspect that's what Boss Fight's planning on doing to get those encirclements, but I don't think NFI has that in mind. I think they're definitely going to be a full frontage, get in their face kind of play.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, we didn't see Tanker at all last season. And
Or the season before.
The start, yeah, or the season before and the start of this season. And now it's here. And, you know, I thought the lighting, it just goes to show you how long since I played Tanker. I thought the lighting update came in the most recent patch, but here it is in what is the old version, quote unquote, the esports branch, if you will. I guess a little inside info for those not in the know. We are not on the new branch, so that's why you're not seeing some of the newer guns that have been added in with the most recent update. We are instead on the version before, and so again, you just don't see any of that new gun usage. You're not hearing that new built-in silencer to that to that Marsoc rifle. You're not hearing the 104, and so that is why. Looking at the rosters as well, I'm not seeing any subs come in.
Scooby.
Oh, yes,
for,
thank you.
Woods for, or not for Woods, for Lil Sayonara.
Absolutely right. And an interesting sub at that. Sayonara was playing well, but I always love to talk about this. I think it's so important to practice your entire roster, you know, to make sure that you get all of your subs on that roster game time, you know, matches that matter. You know, while the series has been decided, the third map still matters. Rounds 1 impact how much you go up and down in rank. And so, you know, with this third map here, Boss Fight still want to get it and win it, but if they lose, they don't lose the series. So they can maybe afford to put in someone that isn't on their typical core 5-man roster, or they can bring someone in that they want, you know, they want to practice in particular on this map. Who knows what Scooby's, I guess we'll find out, you know, if they are a specialist on Tanker or not. But yeah, an interesting note that Scooby has been brought in, and the second time we've seen Boss Fight subbing in players, so utilizing the full extent of their roster for sure here today, and I love to see it. The countdown timer, Sky, it's here. Round 1 on Tanker. We're back to an old familiar. We'll see how Boss Fight duke it out. As, well, this is a place that they should remember from the days of old.
I've got a Mac for you,
NFI
Raider.
on
You need it?
defense and Boss Fight attacks.
Yeah, there's definitely a piece of nostalgia coming on from these players on this map.
On board Legel here, rotating in through the bottom floor while the rest push up from the top. Legel likely to continue their advance eventually, pop out from underneath this tunnel and challenge Deadshot's position.
He's got C4 on it, looking through a window. C4 directly on top of those stairs. That's going to be really tough to deal with.
Meanwhile, the rest of the defense pushed up to those initial windows. Game Reaper actually a little bit farther up onto that corner. And it seems like a solid defensive setup, just waiting for the attack of Boss Fight.
Going to be really difficult to weed out these window positions. The windows being unpenetrable to bullets. They are bulletproof. So these defenders basically have a free overwatch positions to watch or to check where Boss Fight's going to be approaching from. And they can just give call-outs from there.
Mad Hatter getting identified there by Icy Woods through the window, but Hatter Also seeing Woods there as well, and a bit of sign language being exchanged.
What do you do if you're boss fight? You're kind of in this stalemate of a standoff right now. You can't shoot the people you see, so you have to use utility. But Legel, making his way down low.
Nate almost went through the door. Well, that's what you do, right? You use utility and you smoke these windows. That's going to be, and always has been, the most effective way of sort of shutting down those windows positions. A nice smoke wall up in front, and well, here it comes. The smoke wall, as I say, 3 completely denied vision. They're going to rotate off. Hatter can see. Game Reaper also being smoked out as well. They are holding a very tight angle that actually might catch out Woods 43 at least.
Dude's making his way in, but gets shot in the back. I see Woods with the quick refrag. This defense is holding there.
Radar's inside.
Oh. Yeah, he is inside. He is breached in.
One on the right. I flashed somebody tucked away.
Behind us, I think.
Oh, and there's chaos. Radar and Woods.
Yeah, so much. I see Woods goes down, just down to Radar with the entire defense running around him, but the trade comes out. And no pun intended, stay alive in round number 1 of map 3.
And a lot of rounds since they've nabbed that, or a lot of points, I suppose, locked in since they got their last one. But they're on the board, and for the first time in the series, they take the lead as well. A defensive round locked in there. Potential for a second for Radar there to maybe push into that objective space, but also a great reaction from the NFI defense to recognize when they had lost players and crash back to objective. It's something that you don't see in even good teams sometimes. You know, the defense kind of forgets that they have to be very aware and check their tablets and be aware of who is alive and check that objective frequently. You know, an undisciplined team could have let Radar head cap there, but instead NFI crashed back and surround and then shut down the entry, and so a good defense salvaging that round. And now we'll see what Boss Fight do on their defensive round as we do swap sides, go back to that same objective. You know, it's interesting. NFI have shown that they're coming into this season prepared. You know, it's not that they're not ready to play boss fight. You know, I'm looking at their defensive layouts are good. Their discipline is solid. Their comms are there, and I think that's actually something to be quite impressed by, considering that they are a team that has been banded together this season. For them to be playing this good is impressive, and
So you'll have to
well,
come up the stairs.
now they have a lead. We'll see if they can add on to it.
Miguel, I think
Boss fight
if you
going.
put the C4 behind the stairs here and watch through the window, you're good.
Yeah, to kind of complement what you're saying, I was looking at their history
can shoot it
earlier,
from
and
down
they
in the
put
pit.
rounds
You'll never know
against,
that
even though
they're
they
there.
lost against like beginners, they put 8 rounds on them.
Yeah.
Or 8 points, I should say. And they beat Friendly Fire, which we've seen do really well in previous matches. So they're definitely a team to play.
Yeah.
They're not giving up.
I think all of their losses I think all of their series have been close, really. They have had
Go for slow down.
a lot of tight matchups this
Interesting how far Icy Woods has
But we know
pushed
where they
up
are.
and
No.
tossing utility.
and then not really playing off it. The flash comes up and over and I think catches a dead shot out, but Woods doesn't apply the pressure off of it.
On your right, you shouldn't turn the window. South, beta 5, beta 5. 3 south on the other side.
Icy Woods playing a similar position as Game, just from the other side. However, it's pretty risky as somebody could come up behind him on this side. But it is less played than the other side, so maybe if somebody peeks on, they have a 50-50 shot. They either peek left or peek right. If they pick the wrong direction, it's gonna be a bad day.
The full line set up here against the windows, just waiting for the entry for NFI. And NFI just waiting for their setup phase to be done with.
Another C4 in the back.
Okay.
In basically the same spot.
I see Woods
I see Woods
and
and Deadshot now fighting off.
Uh-huh.
All these call-outs.
More movement, double stack south. He moved back to the tit. Danger close on the gill. Another one on the south. Might have been the guy falling back. I'm falling back to support him.
Radar head rotates to back up Ledgel. Almost catches one of them in the rear.
Gonna go down and challenge Radar catching the shots over the top. There's a second one here though, and I don't think Radar was necessarily ready for Ree to be down there. And I wonder if Ree is going to continue to challenge now after making themselves known and dropping the angle. Be peeking it is going to be tough. But I don't know what the play is for now. I don't know what NFI are playing here.
Nice refrag from Deadshot. Deadshot finding a second. Here comes the penetration. Goes into the defense, and he is now going to challenge the objective.
Things around. Crash and prevent this.
Third.
Tablet can come out and a cap can get entered in from the corner. They're not going to do it though, and Radar is at least here to swing around and defend and trade with Deadshot. But NFI have 2 on the board as they pad another round onto their lead.
What a crazy round. And I got a little chuckle. Radar head and Ledgel over in the rear. Ledgel running down there. Radar head calling out, no, as Ledgel dies. He tries to stop his friend, but just couldn't stop the momentum that Ledgel had.
Yeah, maybe we're seeing a
sheer
bit,
confidence.
Maybe we're seeing a bit over aggression coming in from Boss Fight here these last 2 rounds as they've got a commanding 4-1, 4-0 win on those first 2 maps. And I mean, hey, NFI are set up for what could be a 4-0 themselves. If they can manage that, the end scoreline 8-5, that's pretty close. That's a good job of keeping it tight, despite having 2 very tough map 1 and 2 starts and finishes, really. But, you know, the third map right now looking good. And it's like I said, NFI, I am impressed by what they are able to do on terms of defense and offense there. That attack also looked good.
Yeah, no fun intended. Definitely showing that, hey, you know, just because you tore us up in these last 2 maps, we're not done.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Absolutely.
We're still playing. Don't forget. This is still competitive Onward.
Certainly has been competitive. I mean, that it's just been you know, 2 well-rehearsed, well-practiced teams duking it out, and Boss Fight's strategy is prevailing. You know, that's what it comes down to in those first 2 maps. NFI's strategy is prevailing here, and we now swap sides. Objective goes to the other side of the map. NFI back on defense, Boss Fight back on the attack. That was a rhyme I did not intend as we go into round 3.
I'm going to be going center, looking towards the north crane.
Some comms and from no fun intended. Mad Hatter pointing out we're just showing our potential as a team, and that they are.
Not wrong. Oh my gosh, Ree actually lasered onto Scooby-Doo there, but didn't see them in the dark, and Scooby's definitely not seeing Ree. Oh, the night vision.
Echo 4, Echo 4.
Good old Goggles gonna poke him out. Down to a 5v4 relatively
There's a voice center, right in front of the horizontal
and
container.
without any support, that was basically a free kill.
Start with the night vision on for ourselves as well. Won't be green, but does brighten things up a touch. So now we can see Scooby-Doo a little bit better. and the rest of this defense really, as they all kind of tuck into darker locations, try and catch out these pushes and try and stay stealthed.
Looks like they're on our right.
This attack is all going to come down to when Radarhead and Legel decide to breach these stairs. And that's going to cue the top attack, Scooby-Doo, Icy Woods, and Woods 43 to make their approaches.
They just have radar coming up, but they don't have an attack coming up from the other side of the stairs.
Yeah, it looks like they're opting to rotate. Lego's actually supporting the top. Maybe Woods 43 is going to eventually go down. He's been hovering around those stairs for a little bit.
And no fun intended. Certainly intending to have some fun here. Hatter singing songs. A push up through the center results in 2 going down, and that weakens the middle drastically. Now Woods, everybody can charge up through the middle and have an attempt at the objective. Deadshot and Mad Hatter have to swing around. Radarhead could pop up and be a threat from underneath. Not an ideal.
He's getting ready to right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, but Boss Fight take it in the final stretch as the defense tries to push up and make a dent in the attack.
Every round matters. The points matter, and so Boss Fight do not want to let go of map 3 here just as much as NFI do, and a much better attack from Boss Fight, their utility paying off, and they got their early picks, but you know, at the end of the day, once they lost their center defense, NFI had to do what they did. They had to sort of crash on objective and push forward to ensure that no caps were coming through, and once they did that, they just ran into the lines of fire of the prepared Boss Fight attack.
Now as we switch sides once again, now Boss Fight being the ones to defend this, I'm wondering if they're going to put resources up front and forward, as that's pretty key to defend. If anybody gets across and gets behind the red crate near objective, it's just so dangerous. And I feel like that's one thing NFI kind of laxed on, is a frontward defense.
I mean, you have to be thinking.
They let Boss Fight get really close.
You have to be thinking cap attempt here from NFI, right? I mean, I would imagine a full court press up top with smokes would be a play being considered here. You know, just instantly dumping it out and going for that push in the smoke, in the chaos.
Yeah, there's a lot of quick cap potential here. You pop a bunch of smoke and you get right on this corner between the red and blue crate. I mean, it's over.
I have a C4 just left of the left crane.
Oh, this is an interesting defense. They're going to get aggressive. Boss Fight are trying to counter-aggress.
Oh, wow.
This could pay off or be really bad. Scooby goes down on objective with the nade. Deadshot is pushing up. Woods is the only one on OBJ. Scooby gets confirmed there. Hatter goes down.
The flank's coming around.
Everyone's alive
and
still.
they are behind this offense.
Yes, they are. And down they start to go. The trio gets obliterated. Deadshot left alone, and Woods 43 is there to get the kill. A risky play from Boss Fight, only one that they could deploy here, and it barely works. I mean, if that was any faster, if NFI committed to that play, that's a cap easily. It's only Woods on Overwatch able to cover that.
There's just no way NFI could have been prepared for that little of a defense, especially when they had the lead.
True. Yeah, there's so many different spots you have to...
So risky.
Yeah, so many different lines you have to clear. Wow.
Wow.
Great play,
though.
though.
What a play from Boss Fight. Yeah, no kidding.
I got... yeah, a great play. It worked out, you know. ended up being perfectly timed to shut down a bit of a stalling attempt there. And now we're tied up 2-2. We switch objectives over to the underground. Oh no, sorry, the back corner. I keep forgetting about this one.
This one's kind of new.
Yeah, kinda. For a little bit, but yeah, it is. It's new to the VRML and new to the league. But yeah, it is. It feels.
It's tough to defend and cap.
And it feels similar to the other, the center objective that you have here, where it's just so much surrounding it. You have to shut down entry before they get within this range here of the objective.
And there's no good spots to sit to look at this objective that doesn't expose you to other angles.
Right.
So you almost have to play pretty off of objective, which is just, as we see with smokes now, so dangerous.
But hey.
And now we're tied 2-2. It's anybody's map.
I know, map 3 delivering. It's about what I was about to say, this tie game.
Could be match point, even.
Could be. Could be. If Boss Fight can come away with a cap, which they've done already this series twice. Could indeed take map 3. We'll have to see, though. As NFI go on defense, Boss Fight on the attack. NFI seemingly ready to invest several defenders up here into the middle for what seems to be an aggressive defense.
Wow, what a fast kill. What, 6 seconds in?
Yeah, dead shot ready and
Echo
waiting.
3,
Game
Echo
Reaper
3,
pops
there's one
out the bottom and
He's
gets
gone
down
in center.
radar
He's gone
head.
in center.
Only a downed Legel got revived up to a 4v5 now. Scooby-Doo way pushed up. Oh, goes down in a trade. Still resable. Icy Woods looking to get behind this defense. And he will succeed.
And after the shooting, hand comms. 04 doesn't seem to be wary behind him. There's the peek onto the other side.
This is an open objective. Mad Hatter rotating back, but I mean, Icy Woods on a full sprint. If he takes out Hatter. Yeah, 04 finally rotates back to peek out, but all Woods has to do is get behind the stone pillar, and 04 can't stop him. Woods taking down Ree now into a 2v3.5. Scooby-Doo could be revived.
Yeah, I wonder what the play is here. How much utility is left for both Woods and for the Woods brothers? How much do they got left? And yeah, that res needs to come in. Legel could easily scoop that up right now.
Yeah, there's an enemy around South Pit. I'm just holding an angle here on.
So they have eyesight on the objective now, so it's a matter of just waiting for the rest of the team to sink in.
There's the res. 4v2 right now.
Icy Woods just looking for some pickings. Would have caught 04 if he was still over there.
Scooby-Doo just confirmed an Echo. Did we have any other kills?
D4 not ideally placed there, was caught on top of the crate.
It's clear.
Catches no one either, as Legel was off of the corner and Woods was still underground.
04 is in a really tough position here. He has to watch his back and across. I think he's going to be the first to go down, and it's just going to be up to Mad Hatter to deal with the very well-timed attack here.
Yeah, I don't think a cap, though, is in the cards.
No, Icy Woods going to find 04 in the back more than likely here. And then it's going to be up to Mad Hatter to run out and get killed. As I say that, the other Wolf finds him, and then Mad Hatter runs out and dies. Boss fight with a beautiful approach. Gonna take that point.
Yep. A little bit more like what we saw on Hook and Arctic, that sort of surrounding strategy from the attack coming together there, and probably why they ended up picking into Tanker here for map 3. First
So
time.
they couldn't have Subway, so they had to get the next best thing, you know?
Yeah. First time they've taken the lead here on Tanker, though, and so we do go back to series point, technically, for both teams. If NFI can lock in a cap, they take, or a series point, map point, and they take the map. Boss Fight take this defensive round. They take all 3 maps with map 3 pocket here. And so, I mean, either way, Boss Fight are going to be coming out here with a solid growth in rank, which isn't really to say that they can go up very much. They're second right now. So I do wonder how tight the race is between them and I believe beginners who are first still. We'll have to see what it looks like at the end of this week. But they are going to get the most they can get out of this series. And NFI, you know, fortunate enough that they are going up against a team that is above them in rank like they are, but this loss will definitely hurt a little bit. And like I said, there's a lot to be learned from, at least. You know, they can kind of figure out some of their strengths and weaknesses, if you will. And that gets you. We're all good. Thought I was missing gameplay, but I'm not. The game has begun. We are back into it. Round number 6 underway.
We do one in each shoulder.
We also won't have to wait too long to see the results, as both beginners and boss fight, obviously, are both playing right now. So these 2 matches will end relatively close, and we'll get to see if the standings change up.
Yeah, I think it's currently beginners versus Silent Purge. That's
Yep.
a great series, I'm sure, but I only got 1 pair of eyes.
But we're here. Oh, yeah. Oh. Once again, the window position strikes again.
An aggressive defense as well. Boss Fight, they're extended up. And really, they've taken control of both of these buildings, and it actually shuts down all entry. It prevents entry from the lower edge on the edges, and it prevents entry from the top floor. So a really nice defensive setup here from Boss Fight. And, well, it's all a matter of just covering all of the angles here. Scooby actually flies out to look for some kills.
Yeah, with the information that Scooby's been given, he definitely has the potential, and he finds 04 trying to crouch behind that water container, liquid container. Into a 5v4 that weakens the center push. The rest of the offense still pretty far back. And as you said, even though they're well pushed up off of the objective, they've got everything covered, but Rhea's actually snuck through. And it's going to come down to whether Legio can stop him.
Wow.
Oh, but he actually challenges one.
Echo 3, refractor.
Scooby-Doo with a great refrag. Interesting that Rhea opted to challenge this center defense instead of trying to go all the way around.
Yeah, well, I think even going around, they ran into the likes of Radar down there, and I think that's what deterred them initially. Still, though, 3v4.
Solid defense.
Got a reach for NFI, but yeah, I agree. I really like the deep play out here from Boss Fight.
There's the hole. What do you do if you're NFI?
Now I feel stupid. Hey!
Mad
hey,
Hatter taking some
you
shots
there.
at Scooby
Hey.
through the window, but
Hey,
can't
you there.
connect.
Have you heard of the High Elves?
It's always fun to hear the banter that these players do to each other.
Two guys right in front of me. They're
the
falling back. I think they're going under deck.
unique elements of this game is that you can
Having proximity
Did you say you're
chat.
the High Elves?
interesting conversation position that actually
Yeah, there's
results
one
in
south-
Scooby
south,
just taking a
under-
quick gander
underground.
down
I still got
under
one
and
right in front of
finding
me.
the kill.
Hatter just trying to be a target.
And now are also going to try their hand at going underground. It hasn't worked out for anybody yet. But neither has going up through the center. Deadshot is going to try that out. Woods nearly has an angle onto them. Deadshot also sees Woods, but Woods finds the kill.
Echo 1 again?
And Mad Hatter, the lone attacker here for NFI. Is fly down, spots Hatter out. Hatter second guessing that entry from underground, and now with 2 minutes left, goes back up top.
Radar head getting a little antsy. Might opt to push up. No, he's going back. They're just going to hold their ground. 2 minutes on the clock. They're not going to go on a manhunt. Radar head just waiting for Hatter to try it.
And, you know, I get it. Why you don't need to invest in going out for the kills here. If
They
you
have to come to you.
yeah, if you do, you risk giving the round and then having to, you know, it's like it's not going to be faster. If you just wait the 2 minutes and win, it's faster than going out, dying, and losing, and then having to play another one.
Yep.
Of course,
Hindsight is important.
I say that, and then some teams just like to overwhelm. You know, some teams would send all 4 at this one person right now and have them killed in the end of the round, but not the case. We have 1:15 left, really, so not even a lot of time on the clock for Mad Hatter to work with.
Lots of comms coming out from boss fight. Constantly staying in communication, make sure they understand what's happening.
Woods.
Oh, he finds one.
Radar pops right up.
Hey,
There's
my
another
name-
one, like a Pez dispenser.
my
You
name's
kill
Jeff.
one, you get another. There's the trade that gets the W for boss fight as they go up 4-2 on map 3 and lock in the series with all 3 maps won. Quite the performance, I would say, from boss fight today, Scott.
Yeah, that was awesome to watch. I enjoyed every bit of that. And NFI, they didn't just give it. Just despite the scoreline and the overall results, they did not just give it away to them.
No, not at
This
all.
was definitely well fought for. Boss fight just they were doing everything right.
Yeah.
They were on point. They were doing what they've trained to do. NFI just not quite as coordinated and couldn't quite execute the plans that they wanted to as well as they wanted to. And I think that's where boss fight had the upper hand.
A great series to tune into, and one that I'm happy to broadcast out to the wider audience of Horizon Venues, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So we appreciate everyone that did stop by and hang out and catch what was a strong performance from this boss fight squad. Gonna have to keep an eye on the boss fight team throughout the course of season 12, as they certainly are going to be a contender for that top 1, 2, 3 position throughout all of the season, I would imagine. NFI also, like you said, playing well. We'll have to catch more of their games throughout the season. For those interested, this is the VRML. You can learn more about by going to the VRML.com webpage. You can find all of our links to Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, everything, all of the information about all of the leagues, how to sign up, all there and available to you. So I recommend you check it out. If you are new, also please hit that follow button, subscribe button. Come back next weekend on Saturday at 6 p.m. PST, right here on Horizon Venues, Sunday at 12 p.m. PST, where we have Onward games broadcast until the end of the season. Echo Arena will be back on here next year, and so plenty of VR esports to tune into. We do go to a break, I think a week from now, so we still have another week of games, and then we're on a break if I am correct on my timing. And then we come back at the start of the new year with both with the Onward. So that's all the info I got for you. Tune in next week over at twitch.tv/onward_VRML for middle of the week games and here for the weekend matchups. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster, the Sky Joker. We thank you all for hanging out. And until next time, stay classy.